Gemini, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid June 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Gemini collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Geminis in early to mid-June? It is Gemini season, such a beautiful time of year. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Gemini in early to mid-June. And while we get this card out, I just want to wish you all a very happy birthday from me to you. Whether it's already passed, whether it's still coming up, I really hope you have a great one, my friends. But let's get this card out here for you. Let's have a little bit of fun today for the Gemini Collective. And we got the Queen of Swords. All right. Now, this isn't a tarot deck, but this lovely lady here always reminds me of the Queen of Swords, just the energy that she carries. And that is technically one of your power cards. So that could be a very good thing in a Gemini reading. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end. So you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have this divine feminine figure here with that big crown, and she's not looking angry, she's not looking sad or even happy. She's very neutral, and it just screams Queen of Swords to me, where this energy is just about her business. Now, as I already mentioned, it's not gender specific. This might just be an energy you're stepping into or embracing in this time. So what do I think about the Queen of Swords? Very good communicator, extremely smart, very good at planning. This is a no BS, no nonsense type of energy. Extremely intellectual. So I like this. It's a great power card, and like what you see is what you get. And this is an energy that doesn't really edit what it says. It's like just very straightforward and to the point. That's the one thing I like here. Yeah, maybe you're a little more chatty than you usually are when the Queen of Swords is up in the front. But you know me, I have to give you both sides of the coin. Sometimes this Queen of Swords could be very, very stern, very, very serious. Sometimes she could be a little cold or detached or trim certain things away. So that's something to watch out for in this time, because sometimes those words could be a little mean, right? So maybe you might have a sharper tongue than you normally have. But I just like how this energy moves forward for the most part. So we're going to let her chill out right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for the beautiful Geminis. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled A Surprising Situation. And that absolutely tells me that not even just last week, even moving forward, you might want to keep the head on a swivel, because there's a lot of things that could just pop up out of the blue. Now, situations aren't all bad. I mean, sometimes they could be good situations, but the main vibe I was picking up in multiple areas last week was like, where did this come from? Or, oh, this energy's back. Now I have to deal with this again. So I'd watch out for that. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Gemini in their birthday season. What do we got? Knight of Swords. So another one of your power cards. These have some similarities, and that Knight of Swords is off to the races, right? That's a fast mover right there. So we are starting with a bang, which could be good. If this was like an earth sign reading, I'd be like, ooh, all right, this energy might be a little uncomfortable. But I like the speed. Let's get a couple more. 4 Wands, cool. All right, this energy does slow it down. I really like the 4 Wands, the good old 1111 card. It's a beautiful energy. So you might have some good stuff coming in. I'm not going to get too overly optimistic just yet, but I'm okay with what we're seeing. 7 of Swords. Okay, so this little bit of hidden energy. Now, luckily, all the elements do work really well with Gemini energy. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, You know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like they're important. It frames the reading, tells us how the energy is going to flow and how comfortable or uncomfortable you might be with it. And you being an air sign, this is all element that really works well with you and works for you. So that's always a great start. We have a lot of air, which is your power element, your comfort zone, and then we have fire, which is complementary. These energies do feed off of each other. Now, the only thing I do say about this combination, the fire air combo, it can be a little explosive. That's something we need to watch out for. But with the air being your power element and with the Queen of Swords in the beginning, air is logical and pragmatic. It's very strategic, so it's not as emotional. It's about the logical mind. A big thing with air is information, whether it's gathering it, whether it's receiving it, or giving it. It's strong when it comes to information planning. And I just love how it has a lot of foresight. It's extremely intelligent and it's a very logical, mental type of energy. So, in this time, the only downside I could say with all this air is just watch out for the overthinking, right? Because with this energy, it might be in the brain a little more so than normal. Another downside with the swords, very similar to the Queen of Swords, is that cold, detached, could be a little mean. So just watch out for that. But then we have the fire here in the center. That's the realm of action. So it's like we have thoughts become things, thoughts become action. Now, when it comes to fire, it could be your actions, it could be someone else's actions, it could be an action that you even want to take. It's energy levels. That's another thing. So your vitality. Are you feeling a little low? Are you tired? Or are you feeling a little more high vibrational? That could be a thing with the fire. Vitality and health is big and important there as well. The only downside to the fire is that, yes, the volatility, the explosiveness, and the air can feed that. So that's something we want to watch out for. But I'd say for the most part, Gemini could flow with all of this energy. Let's go through and start building it out piece by piece. Position number one, we got the Knight of Swords. Now, again, this is another one of your power cards, power element, all the same. It could be a Gemini, could be a Libra, could even be an Aquarius if you're connected to any of those signs. And the one thing I always say about all knights, they represent action and communication. And out of all the action knights, this is the fastest moving one. It is off to the races. It is acting, it's not even thinking, boom, it's just making something happen. Usually, this is a card that has a lot of determination, a lot of push. Can't stop, won't stop, nothing's going to get in my way. I'm going to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So that's a good thing with the Knight of Swords. Has a lot of push and it's very sudden, very rapid. The only downside with the Knight of Swords is sometimes it could be a little combative. Sometimes it could be a little aggressive or a little pushy. So that's one thing to watch out because this is like a one track mind where it's like if there's something, I have tunnel vision on it and I will not hear anything else. And again, he's very rapid. If it's a conversation, it could be like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we do want to see, is it an action? Is it a conversation? We will see. But again, for you, it's a good thing. Now, moving to the middle, we do have the opposing energy that does seem to slow it down. Now, that could be very good depending on what you're going through, but also it could be like a barrier. We have the Four of Wands, the 1111 card. Now, one thing I always say about this card, it's one of my cards of synchronicities, signs, omens. So if you receive those normally, whether it's number signs, dreams, certain intuition spikes, you might be getting those a little more so than normal. Spirit might be trying to speak to you through the realm of symbolism. So that's something we're going to watch out for. But the Four of Wands is celebratory. It's people getting together. It's people that are happy, right? You see what they're doing. They're partying it up. So normally this is one of my cards of wins, victories, and blessings. It's great. It can represent the home, family, the roots, the household. So I like this. But where it is conflicting to the Knight of Swords is the Four of Wands, although it's from an action suit, it's stable, it's sturdy, it's not moving fast. So like when we have the Knight of Swords running into the Four of Wands, either it's a very quick slowdown or it's a big change or shift in energy that we want to pay close attention to. Now, moving to the back end, we do have another thing that we need to pay very, very close attention to. We have the Seven of Swords. So I am pretty optimistic about what we're seeing for the most part. You see this little guy here, he has the fez on, he's making away with all the swords. In his most optimistic sense, this could just represent mystery, something that's hidden, something that's just not on our radar. So something that hasn't presented itself, right? This is an energy that does move in the shadows. The downside of this card, it's not the most trustworthy. So if your intuition's telling you, like, something's off here, something's wrong here, this card can sometimes represent lies. It could sometimes represent secrecy, secret keeping, thievery. So you see what I mean? There's like a whole spectrum. It could be something very minor and harmless, or it could be something that's like, whoa, okay, I need a warning for this type of energy. So I guess it depends on what you're going through. But the way the energy shifts here and then we have the outcome, that's the thing that's really intriguing to me, because I don't necessarily feel like the Seven of Swords is bad for all of you. But I want to dive deeper on all this, Gemini. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay. Let's get a good shuffle here. Let's get a good shuffle. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Knight. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Gemini, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is the Knight of Swords here? Why is Mr. Knight of Swords in the mix? Okay. It's a fast mover, my friends. All right, so we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, and this card almost flew off my desk. So it even popped out of the deck with a bunch of gusto on it. I don't dislike it here, but the fact that it is in reverse, I saw something very similar in the Aries reading, where it's like act first, ask questions later. So it is like some very fast, rapid type of action. Now, one thing with the Two of Pentacles, it is an energy of like what goes around comes around. What you put forth, you get back in return. There is that karmic archetype here that we need to keep in mind, especially as we move throughout the rest of the reading. But aside from usually being a balanced, harmonious, easygoing type of card, sometimes it could show up when someone's just feeling very busy. So for some Geminis with this and the Knight of Swords, it's like I'm zipping, I'm zooming, I'm here, I'm there, I'm doing this, I'm everything at once, and busy, 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 busy. So maybe there is a slowdown coming up in the energy, because this to me just feels like it's an energy that's zipping and zooming all over the place for one reason or another. So is it some like very fast, rapid, or explosive action? Yeah, damn right it is. I'm not sure if it's coming from you or from someone else. It just feels like I'm here, I'm scattered, I'm doing this. Now, again, if that's where your mind is at, if you find yourself bouncing like from thought to thought to thought to this, that, um, maybe try to ground that energy down, because this energy does seem a little bit wild to me. So that's something to watch out for. We'll see how it plays out throughout the rest of the reading. So either this is some like really fast, like explosive type of action, or it's that busy, busy bee. So we're going to keep moving. We're going to see what shows up. We're going to go in on that Four of Wands. So why is it here? That's at least where we're starting. Now I want to see if it slows down. So why is the Four of Wands, the 1111 card here for Gemini? Okay. So it doesn't surprise me that she shows up once again. We got our good pal, the Queen of Swords, in the upright underneath this Four of Wands. So again, the fire air combination still shining through. We do have a little earth trying to ground it down. But remember all the things I was saying about that lovely oracle card in the beginning. There could be something where Spirit's like, hey, Gemini, you really need to pace yourself with this, or you really need to slow something down. Where it's like, no rush, don't rush it. Because remember, what's the big thing with her, right? You have her twice this week. Strategic, smart, logical, very planned out. So, like, when I see this energy, it's kind of like zipping around like a dog trying to chase its own tail. This energy is like, whoa, 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 whoa. There's no rush. I'm going to take my time with this, which I think is actually a good way to operate. So, could this be a shift of energy or a big change in how someone's presenting themselves? Yeah. It goes from like a little hectic and a little intense to much, much slower. So that could be good or bad depending on what you're going through. But it is also very strategic. So whether Spirit's telling you, like, hey, Gemini, whatever you're dealing with, slow it down, have a plan. Or maybe there's someone you're connected to that is in that slow, steady planning phase. So we get the strategy heavily here in your reading this week. Now, another thing with the Queen of Swords, can she be very stern, very serious? Absolutely. I really want to see what's up with this Seven of Swords on the back end before we talk about a seriousness level. But to me, these are two totally different energies and approaches, where this one is like from one thing to the next, one thing after another, keeping myself busy from this to this to this. Then this one completely slows it down, where it's like, I am in no rush. I'm not going to rush anything. I'm going to take it slow. So, again, for some of you, that could be advice. For some of you, maybe that's just how you're approaching something. We're going to keep going. I think it's okay for the most part, because it's more balanced than this front end energy, right? So let's go in on the Seven of Swords. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the Seven of Swords here? Yeah. All right. So it's very similar to what we have on the front end, where it's like this energy zipping and zooming and all over the place. Then we have a pause or a break, and then boom, it's right back off to the races. So watch out for any things or situations that flare up, or it's like there's a little break, there's a little pause, and then it's like right back to where it was. Like it's giving me energy like this. Now, for some of you, that's a great thing. For some of you, that's beautiful, but for others, it could be like, ugh, like why does this keep flaring up? It's like a flare up. That's the best way I can put it. There could be a whole variety of situations like that too. Now, I believe in the adaptability of Geminis, that you're good rolling with the punches, dealing with situations. So luckily you are with all this fire air combination. But there could be a variety of situations or actions being taken from people where it's like there's a volatility, there's an explosiveness to it. Right now, the Eight of Wands, it's a big conversational type of card, type of energy, but it is one of the fastest movers in the whole entire deck. And aside from the conversation, it is action. So it's like we have this energy on the front end that is like one thing to the next, very explosive action. Then we have a pause, then we have a slowdown, and then boom, it's right back. We're right back on track. We're getting right back on, if that makes sense. So that's interesting. That's super interesting. I just feel it depends on your situation. For some of you, this could be like really great, where it's like, all right, I'm back better than ever. Or I had this little break, now it's back better than it ever was. But for others, it's like, okay, there was this little lull in the time, but here we go again. It's like one of those. But let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. Watch out for any things, situations that have an explosive quality that could flare up in this time. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we start here very intense with the Knight of Swords, Two of Pentacles in reverse. Act first, think later type of energy. So watch the impulses, watch the riskiness and risky behaviors, because this energy could act before it thinks. Or it's just very busy, or it's got a lot on its mind, where it's like one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. It's like always going, always going. So watch your energy levels. Now, that does change and shift in a big way when we get to the Four of Wands and the Queen of Swords, a complete slowdown. Now, could this be taking a rest, taking a break, hitting the pause button with something? Very possible. It could be a little quiet gap of time that we're picking up in the center, which I think is okay. There is this energy around strategy and planning. And if that is the case here, it's like I plan it out, boom, then I put it into effect. It's like I have a plan, boom, now we're following through with more action. Because moving to the back end, we have the Seven of Swords, Eight of Wands, and the upright. So again, right back where we left off. So watch out for any things or situations that have an explosive quality to it. And again, with the action, it's all here where it's like we're full go, full stop, full go again. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for my Gemini friends. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing. So let's get to one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. Let's get this shadow card out for our friends. There we go. Queen of Wands. So more of this fiery energy is showing through. Now, if you're connected to a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, that can be represented by the Queen of Wands. Remember, it's not gender specific. But a big thing with her, she represents confidence. So in the good sense, when I see the Queen of Wands, it's like I'm feeling full of energy, full of life, full of confidence. It's an energy that treats itself well. But when we get to the shadow side of it, sometimes this could be an energy that is beating itself up for some reason. So in this time, I think it's super important to treat yourself with love, kindness, empathy, self-love, and self-care. Highly important when we have the Queen of Wands in the shadows, because this could be an energy that's way too hard on itself. So that's just something to be aware of. So we're going to put her down right there, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My June calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the June subscriber surprise, doing another winner's choice. The winners, which will be three, will have a choice between either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my all-time favorites, or you can choose a custom pendant from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards in the deck, Which one do you feel represents you and your energy best? You could even pick multiple if you'd like. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab /post tab. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.